just paper and ink. It's a tale of survival, power, and trust that began long before the dollars we know today. The story of American currency starts in the late 18th century. After breaking free from colonial rule, the young United States was a chaotic marketplace. People used a mix of European coins, Spanish gold and silver, and sometimes just traded goods. But for a nation to be truly independent, it needed its own money. This led to a pivotal moment in 1792 when Congress passed the Currency Act and the US dollar was born. Its name was inspired by the European thaler, and its value was tied directly to gold and silver, a promise that this new money would be as solid as precious metal. However, promises are often tested. Wars, mounting public debt, and conflicts between states quickly began to shake this fragile financial system. The government was forced to find a new way forward. The 19th century was a turbulent time marked by the rhythmic hammering of mints and the deafening roar of the Civil War. It was during this conflict that the government, desperate for funds to survive, printed the first greenbacks. These dollars weren't fully backed by gold. For the first time, their value depended on something else, the collective trust of the American people. It was a lesson in faith, believing in the nation's future rather than just the metal locked away in a vault. As America rolled into the 20th century, its economy was booming. But it was also plagued by recurring banking crises that felt like a never-ending fever. The country realized it needed a central nervous system for its money, a brain to coordinate the financial flow. So, in 1913, the Federal Reserve was created. Working quietly behind the scenes, it began to adjust interest rates and manage the money supply, acting as a gatekeeper of economic stability. Its power was, and still is, a subject of intense debate, but its role became undeniable. Then came the two world wars. While Europe was reduced to ashes, American factories were running day and night. This immense industrial power transformed the dollar from a national currency into the lifeblood of global trade. The defining moment came in 1944 at the Bretton Woods Conference. Leaders from around the world gathered and made a historic agreement. Other major currencies would be pegged to the US dollar, and the dollar, in turn, would be pegged to gold. This decision effectively placed Washington at the very center of the new global financial order. It was an unofficial declaration of American leadership on the world stage. But history is never a straight line. The prosperity of the post-war era came with a price. By the 1960s and 70s, the costs of war, expanding social programs, and rising inflation started to drain the nation's gold reserves. The promise made at Bretton Woods was becoming impossible to keep, in a move that shocked the world. President Richard Nixon made a fateful decision in 1971. He completely severed the link between the dollar and gold. This act, known as the Nixon Shock, ushered in the modern era of fiat currency. From that day forward, the value of the dollar and most world currencies would depend entirely on confidence. Confidence in the government, in the strength of the economy, and in the stability of the system itself. Since then, the dollar has become a mirror, reflecting every high and low in America's journey. It has seen the explosive growth of the tech boom, the gut-wrenching market crashes, and the 2008 financial crisis, a moment when that crucial confidence wavered but ultimately did not collapse. More recently, the global pandemic forced the money printing presses to run at full speed, reigniting old debates about inflation, public debt, and the very future of money. But today, we stand at another crossroads. Digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, and instant payment systems are challenging the traditional role of paper money. Yet, the US dollar remains a titan. It's more than just a medium of exchange. It's a living story of power, crises, and innovation. Each bill we hold is a tiny piece of history, marked by the choices made during wars, the lessons learned from financial panics, and the constant push of technology. It reminds us that money isn't just printed with ink. It is forged from the shared history and collective trust of hundreds of millions of people. A powerful symbol of a story that is still being written. Thanks for watching. If you found this story of the dollar fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the forces that shape our world. See you next time.